Welcome to Algebra 2. This is for the day that I'm absent, Monday. So let's start. You're given scenarios here. You can pause the video and just answer question 1. See if you can figure out equation for A, B, C, and D. Okay, you can pause the video. Don't take as long as you need to. Take a couple of minutes and then start the video. I'm gonna tell you the answer right now. See the answer right now. So like equation 1, like store A. If they're charging you $9 per book kind of thing, the T represents how much money it will cost. So your equation is T equals 9. That's $9, and N is how much you buy. So 9N. T equals 9N. Store B, T equals 9N. That's $9 per, but they also added the shipping fee, right, which is plus 5. It doesn't matter how much you buy, they charge you $5 for shipping fee. Store C, T equals, right now they're selling you at P dollars, which is a variable, and you're buying N number of books. So it's N times P, and they're charging you $5 because the N now represents the variable of how many, P represents now a variable for how much they're charging you, which could be different depending on the books. Store D, T equals again NP, but now shipping is also a variable, which is just F. Now, so you're given this equation, pause the video, and for each equation here, get N by itself. Rewrite the equation such that you're solving for N. So I'm gonna pause. You can pause the video, and I'm gonna give you the answer now. So for store A, you would divide by 9. You get N equals T over 9. Store B, you would subtract 5 first. You get T minus 5, and then you would divide by 9. For store C, you would do subtract 5 first again, but now you would divide by P. For store D, you would do subtracting F first and then divide by P. You see, these are two different equations. They inverse of each other, but they are telling you a different story, right? Here, they're saying, hey, how much, let's say this one, okay? How much will it cost for me if I buy N number of books? Here, the question now becomes this. If I'm spending this much, how many books can I get? Right? Two different scenarios. Same scenario, but like two different outputs, I guess. Inputs and outputs. I mean, that's basically what we're doing right now. Hopefully this makes sense. Again, here you're solving for how much will it cost for N number of books. Here, you're saying how many books can I buy given this much money that I have, right? All right. Let's do the next one. Simply plug it in. For this one, let's just say you plug in 0 for that, you get 32. If you plug in 100, I have a calculator here. Just give me 1 second, and I will let you in just a moment. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so you will plug in 100. You get, okay, pause the video and see if you can try it yourself, right? That's given, right? Okay, you get 900. Okay, 900 divided by 5 plus 32, and that's 212. Now your 25 times 9, which I think is 225, but let's just check. Genius. I don't know how to do that, but I'm a genius. Divide by 5 plus 32. 77. But now you're doing the opposite thing. Given F, so I would just answer this question first, solve for F, and then it becomes easier when I plug it in, right? When I do solve for F, I get F minus 32 all over, let's give me 1 second. F minus 32 times 5 over 9 equals C. Okay, let's take step by step how I got that, okay? So you're given F equals 9/5 C plus 32. First step first, subtract 32, you get f minus 32. I don't know why you keep forgetting subtraction. 9/5c. Now to get rid of 9/5, you multiply by 5 or 9s, and you get that. So let's do this. Plug in 104, you subtract 32 first. 104, right? Yep. 104 minus 32. You do that first, and then we'll do times 5 divided by 9, and you get 40. Same thing here, 50 minus 32 is 18, so that's 10. I'll just show you that as well. You get 18 times 5 divided by 9, and you get 10. Genius, guys, genius. Okay, 62.6 minus 32 times 5 divided by 9, and you get 17. So we also did that. Okay, so pause the video, see if you can rewrite this as this. Okay, pause the video, see if you can do that. Are we sure? It is such a weird. Okay, pause the video, let's try it. I'll answer the question now. Okay, r equals 9/5. See, I'm going to distribute the 9/5 first, and when I do that, 273.15 times 5 times 9, I meant, divide by 5, you get 491.67. Subtract 491.67 first, you get r minus 491.67 equals 9/5 c. Divide by, and you get 5 9s on the outside. So c equals 5 9s times r minus 491.67, which is the same thing as that. Cool. Again, different things, right? There are two different questions. Given this much Celsius, what is that in Rankine? That's my first time looking at that. Okay, whatever. Degrees Rankine. What is that? Okay, whatever. Again, that's what they're saying here. Given Rankine, how much Celsius is that, right? That's what they're saying. Okay, let's look at this. Table 1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tables, seats. Table 2 has 4 more, you get 10. Table 3 has 4 more, you have 14. Now, if you remember the arithmetic sequence, which is S of n equals S of 1 plus n minus 1 times d. You can definitely plug it in and check if it's true or not, right? But I'm just giving you, we're connecting that with the thing that we already done. I'm just going to show you this. You don't have to do this, okay? I'll show you another way on how to know if that's the one. But see, here's the thing. S of 1 is 6, right? Let's just keep n as it is. The difference is 4 each time. When you simplify this, you get 6 plus 4n minus 4, which is just 4n plus 2. That's what we have. Now, how would you check if that's the one without doing this? Just plug it in, okay? Plug in 1, you get 6. Plug in 2, you get 10. Plug in 3, you get 14. And so on. So it works. Domain and range. Domain is the things that you plug in, right? Looking at this, look at the context, okay? It depends on the context as well. What is the sequence? What is the equation telling you, okay? S represents the number of tables. Number of seats, and n represents the number of tables. Now, when you talk about that, domain is the number of tables, right? N. Then my question becomes this: what makes sense for n? Can you have half a table? You can't. It's like you can have like 1 table, 2 table, 3 table, and 4 table, and 5 table, and 6 table, right? So you can have, that's your domain, right? 1, 2, 3, and so on. Cool. Let's talk about range. Looking at this, you're getting the outputs that is a function of 4n plus 2, right? So you can get in 6, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26, and so on, right? Range is limited to those specific numbers. Does that make sense? Because you cannot have half a table, right? So the specific range is limited to those numbers only, right? Like 6, 10, 14, and so on. It's multiples of 4 plus 2. That's what you're saying, multiples of 4 plus 2, right? Run equation represents the inverse of the given function. So when you say inverse function, you're solving for n in that scenario. change your input and output. Here your input is n, output is s. You want to change it when you find the inverse function. You make sure that the s is the input and n is the output. How do you do that? We have done that before as well. In the previous exercise, just solve for n. What you would do, you can do that on yourself. You got this. And this becomes your s minus 2 over 4. Right? Now, let's talk about this. You can plug it in 94 and 95 for s and figure out how many tables you need. But again, if you might have to round that up if it's not a perfect number, because you cannot have a decimal of a table, right? You cannot have a decimal of a table. You can have whole number for a table, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Now, seats right now, see, when you talk about this, right now your domain has been changed. Now your domain is s, because that's what you're plugging in, right? For the inverse function. When you talk about this, s has no limitations. You can plug in, see here, your range had limitations because you're plugging in integers and you are only getting those numbers, 6, 10, 14, and so on. Right now, you can plug in any number you want because now the question is different. Given, if I tell you this is how much seats I need, how many tables will I need for that to have minimum of that many seats? So let's say if I say, can I plug in 5? In this case, yes, I can plug in 5, but I would not have gotten 5 as my range because it's not, because it depended on my output. Right now, I could get any number out there for s, right, for 5. Now, for range, I could get any number. Now, here's the thing. I could get a decimal number for sure. I could get decimal number. That's the only thing that makes sense. But it will not make sense for the range, right? So for domain, I could plug in any number, right? From 1, 2, and so on forever. But not 2 because it will be negative. It doesn't make sense. I would say 3 and 4. And forever because it will be negative. You cannot have negative tables. So 3 and 4 is a starting point. Depends on the context, right? Range. If I plug in 3, I'm getting 1/4. If I plug in 4, I'm getting 1, right? Like 4 minus 2, I'm getting 1/2. If I plug in 5, again, range depends on what you plug in. And here, if I plug in 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so on, that's how much the range is, right, from 0 to infinity, right? Like 1 to infinity or something, or 0 to infinity, like 0. Now, if you plug in 2, you would get 0. That doesn't make sense for the context of the problem. How can I have 0 tables given 2 seats? That doesn't even make sense, right? So again, it depends on the context of the problem. So in our case, the minimum that I'm getting is 6. That's what we're saying here. 6 seats you can have, right? You could use only 4 seats out of them. That's again on you, right? But again, if you plug in, okay, if you plug in 6, you get 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So again, this makes sense for me. 0, infinity. You can't have negative of a table. Now, again, these are all integers, right? For the context of the problem. Now, if I just simply forget the context, then I could get decimal numbers as well. But for context of the problem, this can only be integers because I cannot have half a table. I'm not going to cut it just because you know what I mean? Okay. Alright, I think that's pretty much all. This is just that. This is just that. What do you call that? This is just practice now. You got this. If you have any questions, just keep it to yourself and let me know tomorrow when you come back to school.